what's going to be? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Everybody, we're at the end of March, and we have had so many great bands coming out with so many great albums in March. This one very well might take the cake. Oh my God. We got Kyle from Archetypes Collide on the podcast today, and let me tell you, their self-titled album, which is about to drop on the 31st, is dynamic as all hell. Before we jump into talking with Kyle about it, I want to thank support for this podcast, which comes from Phoenix Fitness. So, of course, you guys know what's my favorite thing to do in the world? A couple of things. Podcasting, because I love talking to artists. I love connecting with them. I love being able to, bring this kind of energy. But what else gives me this kind of energy? Jumping into mosh pits. Oh, yeah. In order to do what I want to do in mosh pits, which is going to be go from beginning of the opening band to the end of the headliner and never jump out in between, I got to make sure my body is good enough and can withstand that amount of time in the pit. So I got to have cardio up there. I got to make sure that I'm strong enough to take the hits and strong enough to deliver the hits as well. So I got to say what I call mosh pit fit. So of course, I'm in the gym a hell of a lot, doing a lot of cardio work, running, biking, Stairmaster, swimming. I'm also lifting a lot as well. But I also need to make sure my body is prepared right and is recovering right from that to make sure I can do this day in, day out on a consistent basis and hit on those fitness goals to perform well and stay mosh pit fit. Have that pit daddy energy. Pit daddy! So that's where Phoenix Fitness comes in. They have many different supplements to help you achieve your fitness goals and be like us and get mosh pit fit. So what do they have? They have different types of pre-workout, both stim and stim-free. I use their stim-free stuff because, guys, I'm shooting this episode on 2 hours of sleep. I already worked out this morning, went through a full day work, shot an episode, and this is my energy right now. Yeah. I don't think I need any extra caffeine. There's different types of BCAA recovery compounds help you absorb nutrients in your muscles directly after workout much more efficiently. Different types of creatine help you build muscle. Different types of protein help you build muscle. Whey protein, collagen protein, plant-based protein. I use their chocolate malt flavored whey protein because, ooh, that's good stuff. Multivitamins, and literally anything you might need to achieve your fitness goals, Phoenix Fitness has for you. So our listeners get 15, not 15, scratch that, 20% off using code CPP20 at fnxfit.com. Link description of the podcast. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness. Now time for a feature presentation. This album is going to be on my top albums for the year already. So please welcome Kyle from Archetypes Collide. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. If March 2023 is proving anything, is that there are so many bands that are releasing so many great albums, and this band right here, they are no exception to this rule. The album they're about to release for you guys is one of my favorite albums so far from 2023. And you're going to be able to get to go and get a chance to hear some of these songs live when the band goes out on the road in the spring, supporting Beartooth and Trivium. You know it's going to be a high energy show. You know you're not going to want to miss out on it because pure adrenaline is going to be running through your veins when you listen to the album and when you go see that show. So before we go into it, let's just introduce the man. So please welcome Kyle from the band Archetypes Collide to the podcast. So Kyle, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
What is up? Thank you for having me. I'm stoked to be on.
Thank you for being here today, man. How has everything going in your world? I mean, we're right up to the release of the album, right about to go on tour for you guys with Beartooth and Trivium. I mean, 2023 has been treating you good so far, man. So how's life been?
There's been a lot of build up to finally get to this part of the whole release progress, recording an album and, flying out, getting all that stuff taken care of, music videos, photography, all that crazy stuff. And finally we get to show everyone we've been working on for the past, God, at least a year or over a year now. So it's really exciting and especially a few of the singles we've dropped. I mean, the response we're getting, we know we got something really good with this album, so we're stoked to see how it goes. But we're pretty confident it's going to pop off. So,
I'm pretty confident in it too, because from the conversations I've had with friends around this, in terms of hearing what people have been saying around the music that's coming out this year, I've had a lot of friends that have been big on the singles that you guys in Archetypes Collide have put out there. And when I sent out the message, I'm like, hey, I got a chance to interview him. Everyone's just like, oh my God, we're going to be listening to this one. Like, we're so stoked for this album.
Go.
We cannot wait for this thing. So, I mean, I was excited for it, and then I got to listen to the album, and now I'm even more excited for it based off of everything I heard that you guys put into this album.
Let's go. Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of the songs, because I mean, it's a full length album. We've always done EPs and singles, and our mindset with a lot of that, back in the day, we were independent, we weren't signed. Every song had to be a single. Like, it had to be to the point, it had to be money, like it had to be solid, right? Like, we put everything into those songs. We couldn't be super artistic or anything like that. And I feel like with this album, we finally had a chance to do that and kind of bridge outside. If I'm sure you're familiar, there's a couple tracks that you're like, okay, this is a different style. This is a different style. And yet we're still in that rock metal umbrella. But I think what's really cool is even though we bridged outside of that, they still all like literally, I feel like every single song could be its own single if we really wanted it to be. Like they all just have that. Yeah, I mean, they're just sick. I love every track on this album. I'm so stoked about it.
I know you guys must have had a little bit of trouble picking what singles you were going to go with for this album, especially going through the whole entire thing. Because even I'm looking through, I'm like, okay, these are the singles that are out. I'm like, yeah, you guys picked some great ones. However, in my mind, I'm like, there's one or two that stick out in my mind as, why were these not put out there as singles? However, those are the ones I've been sending to my friends in like Snapchats. It's like, hey, this song title right here, remember this one, because this is going to be the one you're going to want to go to at the very first moment you get a chance to hear this thing. It's like, check out this one. Trust me, you ain't gonna miss out on it.
Yeah, there are some heaters on it, and that's what's crazy about the process is, now that we have a label backing us, we can we have a lot more, I guess, ability to do bigger, do better with our music. So whether it's music videos or putting out multiple singles before we release the whole thing, and that's what was cool is, essentially we have My Own Device, which kind of bridged us, got us through the end of the year, but that is technically the first single of that album. And then we did What If I Fall and Parasite. And all three of those songs are like such different. I mean, they all kind of have a similar, you got the same guy singing on it, or, the same band playing it. Like there's a cohesiveness to it, right? Like, but they all kind of have their different, zones. And we knew Parasite when we dropped that one. Like I love that song because it's like, it's to the point, it's heavy, it's got screaming, like, the metalheads are going to eat it up. Like that's my jam. I know it's going to be their jam. So, and that one has completely, we dropped it a little over a week ago, and it completely blew up. We got the cover of a Spotify new metal playlist. Like they put our faces like, hey, new metal this week, Archetypes Collide, they're number one. I was like, what is going on? And like the amount of just metrics as far as like streams and just people listening to it. We've been watching the tickers because we're just analytic freaks ourselves. It's pretty sick to see how many people are really bought in on this kind of stuff. I mean, it's so much fun because obviously we love it. We wouldn't put it out if we didn't. But to see everyone else loving what you love to do is it's a good feeling.
It has to be. And kind of go back a little bit. The reason why I think, especially when it comes to even all three of these songs, What If I Fall, My Own Device, and Parasite, why they still sound like Archetypes Collide, even though they're going in different directions, is because the whole entire ethos and the whole entire core sound that is behind what you guys do is completely there. There's always that kind of that anthemic drive that's going to be put behind everything you guys do. And all three of those songs just completely stand out to match that. So when you do get on the cover of a Spotify, editorial curated playlist, and you guys are on the front, on the like the cover art for it, this is new metal this week, and it's like, okay, here's Archetypes Collide. You're like, of course,
check out the ballad song we dropped last month, What If I Fall. Like metalheads are going to be like, yo, this is sick, and then they listen to a different song, they're like, yo, these guys do everything. Like I feel like that's always been our biggest thing that we love to do. And even My Own Device, like it's kind of pop punky, like it's got the fast drums, got the and like it's pretty driving, right? Like it's got that kind of vibe to it. And so all three songs are like genre wise kind of in their own ballpark, but yet they're still Archetypes Collide, which I've said it before with a few different people that, our band name is the idea of joining different archetypes. Genres is how we look at it. Like, hey, how can we, incorporate pop? How can we incorporate, with My Own Device, synthwave? How can we incorporate with What If I Fall? It's got some trap drums and like some modern pop rock that people do. And of course, Parasite, it's got some crazy like Duhas, like the breakdown vibes, and like the whole like just synth style of it is very like industrial, kind of like 2000s like German metal. Like that was like what we wanted to do, just have that kind of like synthy vibe to it. And I feel like everything we do is just so much fun. So songwriting, that's like literally one of my favorite things to do in a band. Like playing shows is sick. I love hanging out with people and having a good time, but the songwriting process sometimes, dude, that is just like, you got mad scientists running around doing crazy experiments, and sometimes it pops off and you're just like, yo, this is the coolest thing ever. So yeah, Parasite Breakdown. If you haven't checked it out, the song dropped about a week ago. I think it's got the sickest breakdown we've ever written. It's got like cheerleaders like shouting "Hey" before it pops off, and yeah, it's weird, but it's cool.
It's weird, but it's cool and it works. So go check it out. Out of the 3 singles, my favorite was My Own Device because it did have like I did like the synthwave introduction to it, and then it does have that pop punk drive to it. But then every other like the anthemic drive behind, like this is Archetypes Collide, but it reminds me a lot of the same like anthemic power and drive I hear from like 3 Days Grace, especially the Adam Gonti era. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. This is hitting on every different level.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Parasite, heavier. What If I Fall has more of the ballad, more of the melodic feel to it.
Yeah.
Then on some of the other songs that you guys have yet to release until the full album comes out, like all of a sudden, right after My Own Device on the track list, you got Suffocate Me, which that song is just heavy, hard,
you
right
already
in your face
know,
throughout
dude.
the whole entire thing. And then I got to make sure I don't fuck this up, too. Then you go up to Paranoid, and it does have a little bit more of that softer flow to it. And I'm just thinking, okay, this is what you guys are able to do. You're showing on this album all the different range that you guys have, but still, when it comes down to does this have that core Archetypes Collide feel to it, every single song I listened to
100%
absolutely did. And you're seeing bands that are, that are willing to experiment with their sound but keep that core sound to them. Those are the ones that people are really connecting with because you're able to understand so many of these different avenues. I mean, seeing what happened with Bad Omens last year is such a strong positive where they can still, play Dethrone. They come out with the Artificial Suicide and it's still heavy as all hell. But then all of a sudden you get to something like, Nowhere to Go, Just Pretend. And it's, well, this is different, but it's still them. This for you guys, all these songs, each one song has its own identity. Nothing is really the same, but it's still you guys every step of the way. There's no question about it.
And that's what's like in the danger of like songwriting is sometimes you can get carried away trying to like, hey, I really want to write a song that incorporates this, and you want to do this or do that. That's usually not in your wheelhouse. Like obviously, like typical Archetypes Collide wheelhouse. I'll let you know our secret formula. We love huge choruses. We love melodies that are going to get stuck in your head like that. I have a passion for like writing melodies that just get stuck. Like I love that. I love being able to write a hook. I can appreciate pop music and like how those artists can come up with what sounds simple to most people, but yet the preciseness of those melodies and lyrics that they pick are like very like intentional. So like, typical Archetypes Collide, we got a huge chorus. We're going to find a way to riff and have some sort of breakdown. Like that's just our go-to. And like, we just love ripping, especially vocally. Like I love being able to belt and just sing it out and just go for it. And I feel like it's just whatever genre we try to incorporate, as long as we accomplish that alongside of it, it's always going to sound like us. So we try not to have like an identity crisis, trying to find a bunch of different genres to play, different styles. Like we still, stay true to ourselves. And I feel like this album was like the perfect balance of that. Because there was times where we could have like really like gone into something or not. And I feel like we really just kind of walked on that tightrope of like who we are, but still showed people, hey, here's some other styles that we really enjoy that we don't typically do, and here's obviously the styles that we really enjoy, and let's go all out, balls to the wall on it. So I'm stoked. You mentioned Suffocate Me. That's one of my favorites. I feel like it's a sleeper. And let's just say there was a really close battle between that and Parasite to be that single that we dropped last week. And it was close. But I think we all, as the guys all voted on it, we're like, all right, they're both bang. Like they're both sick songs, and they're sick, they're heavy. And like, all right, let's run Parasite. Let's go with it. So we were they're both kind of in that same vein. Those are two of my favorite songs on the album. So there's another one on there that we'll get there once it drops, but it's Fade Away. It's a jam. So
I'll say before I go into this, even the funnier thing is like the one song that was on this album that has stuck out to me more than anything. We still have not even touched on. We've touched on like more than half the album already with songs. We're dropping names, and the one that I'm just like, this is the song from this album we haven't even mentioned yet. So just for the audience, think about how crazy that is. we're just upping a lot of these songs. And for myself, I haven't even hit on the one that's like, this is the one that I cannot get like out of my head. But the key that you said there is, you know, it's kind of like walking on that tightrope, where that tightrope is where you guys are at your core. It's kind of like walking on a slack line. All of a sudden you see the guys are like bobbing back and forth trying to regain their balance. It's like you guys are going so far in like potential directions here, so far in potential directions here to try these new things and try these things you want to do within your own sound. But there's always that consistent thing that you said, you know, those hooks, that anthemic drive behind it, the way that it just has those melodies, those grandiose things. So it's going to get stuck in your head. Because when it comes to other albums I've listened to this year, there are songs that I've gotten into, but there's no album that's consistently been stuck in my head with the songs and what you guys have put out so far this year. So when I keep thinking about it, I'm always going back to thinking, but I always remember the songs that Archetypes Collide has already put out this year. I remember
we're mad scientists, dude. We love writing that stuff. I love it when people get stuff stuck in their head. It's like, it's kind of the best, like, you know, compliment as a songwriter to be like, yo, like, I cannot get this song. Sometimes people hate it. They're like, God, this stupid song. You know, the Sam Smith, Unholy. Like that chorus is literally stuck in everyone's head, and they're like, I can't get it out of my head. And all of a sudden it's like, well, hello, there's a genius songwriter behind that, even though it's like hella cringy. Like there's someone behind that wrote for a pop song in like a minor key of like, no one does this, and yet it's so catchy, and like it's just fun. It's I could go on. I really could. So it's definitely a compliment. If we got stuff stuck in your head, then I'll take it.
I mean, it's just like the mad scientists at work. And now I'm going to actually bring it up. So the song that I could not get out of my head because the construction of it, the way it flowed, everything about it, I'm like, this might be the best song I've heard so far this year, was Separate.
Yes. Okay. I see you. That's a jam.
Oh God, yeah, that one was nuts. Because I mean, for myself, I'm a big into like to the punk rock, hard rock, metalcore kind of stuff. But I'm been a lot more into the metalcore side of things. Just the drive, the power, just the sheer raw tenacity that's behind it. And in those verses, it's put right out there for you, and it's like, no, this is fantastic. But then you get to that chorus. And the chorus is so much.
It's such a curve, dude.
It's such a curve, but the fact of the matter is it still has that anthemic drive. It's so catchy.
Such a catchy
but it
chorus,
fits in so well with the whole entire song, because you allude to it in the intro as well. You allude to it, but then you just go straight heavy right after it. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? I'm just constantly thrown off by the end of the song. This is the one that I cannot get the chorus stuck out of my head. But this is the one that I want to see you guys play live, because I'm like, I want to go absolutely ape crazy to this thing in the pit. And when that chorus hits, it's going to be like, well, what do we do now? Well, now we're just vibing. We're all having a good time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, now we're out of the chorus. Time back to, hitting each other in, like, shoulder to shoulder. Let's go.
I know. It really, dude, that song was it's kind of a bipolar song, if it was a human. Like it's just we kind of transition. Like there's like a pre-chorus section where it really, it like lays it out and kind of rings out, and you're like, okay, something's coming, but what is it? And then the chorus hits, and you're like, yo, what the hell is this? But I really like it. So you just like it's a jam. That's gonna be a fun one to play live. I can tell you 100%. We're all stoked about that song.
Yeah, because even like in my notes section that whenever I have an album I'm going to listen to, I'm going to, end up having to talk about on a podcast. I'm going to go through every step of the way to make sure I know everything about it from my mindset.
Yeah.
And I know on here, I was like, I am all about this one because there's nothing I can go away from it. The heavy marching metalcore sound that starts out with it picks up to the pace with this aggression in this verse that shows like just overall frustration between, real friends, fake friends, trying to keep that idea separate. And then the unclean vocals just make it stand out. But again, it's that chorus. The cleaner vocals, the more dynamic vocal pattern, that hard rock backing pattern, it puts that like internalized frustration so much more out into the forefront. So that drive and that anthem is just right there. You're not missing on it. And the breakdown it's dirty. It has a little more of a sludgy, like melodic style to it, but it hits so hard, especially with those unclean vocals over the top. It's heavy, it's hard, it's gritty, it's sludgy. But then you get to the chorus, and it's so much. It's not lighter, but it's more hard rock anthemic driven.
Yeah.
But it all makes sense, and when you listen to the song from start to finish, because everything is in place. The energy flow from one spot to the next. And when you talk about that pre-chorus, it's like the guitar tone heightens just a little bit. It's like the pitch is just a little bit higher on some of those notes, and it just leads into that, and it's like it alludes to it. So you're like, oh shit, where are we going with this? Because when I first heard it, I thought
hitting the top of a roller coaster, dude, and you're like, it's about to drop.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm really curious. That when the chorus hit, it was it was like, I wasn't expecting this, but this is the most satisfying conclusion to that pre-chorus I could possibly imagine.
Let's go. 100%. Yeah, I remember when we wrote that, we were just like, yo. And that's the stuff I was talking about. Like we got to do things that normally, like a song like that, we would, if it was, if we were only, if we could only afford to, as an independent band, to do like, 4 songs, like an EP,
Mm-hmm.
and we had that song there, it's like, well, it's kind of got this, and it's a little bipolar in its nature. It's got really heavy riffs, and it's got a really pop punky kind of like, almost like 90s, like chorus kind of style, right? Like it's very kind of just vibey, bouncy, whatever. And then the breakdown is like absurd. Like it just takes it to a whole nother world. You're like, what the heck is up with this song? Right? Like it opens up and you're just on the hat, and it's once people hear it, they'll understand what we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. But I mean, yeah, it's one of those songs where like, hey, we have a foundation with this label that trusts us to put out music and to do what we do on a bigger level. So let's use this opportunity to make songs like this, to go places that we wouldn't really go normally because we couldn't, either afford to do that because we'd rather do something more in the pocket or whatever it is. And so that's the best part of the album, is like you hit that kind of middle, 7, 8, 9, song 10, that kind of section there. There's a lot of songs in there that you're kind of like, yo, this is out of left field, but it's kind of sick. And that's really our I think that's the best part about this whole album process, is being able to entertain those ideas and just go like, hey, sure, what the heck, we already wrote some heaters, we got these over here that are money, let's go, let's write something fun over here that would just completely throw us off yet still be sick. So that was definitely one of those tracks, like, yo, let's go for it, let's just do what we've always wanted to do but kind of been too afraid to, essentially, right? So
It kind of, I mean, kind of afraid, but the other point you said too is you guys are, analytics freaks when it comes to taking a look at all that stuff. So
yeah,
when it came to putting out the singles that you had in the past, putting out like the smaller collection songs that you had in the past, when it was more independent, when you guys were the ones financing it, you were taking a look at what was going to be able to get you to a point where you could successfully, have a time to create an album that's going to have that 10, 11 songs, that list, where
yeah,
when it came to your songwriting process and where you guys were at your core, you knew exactly where that was. But now you have the ability to continue to show fans, this is who we are. And there's going to be songs that might be more in the pocket and that are going to connect with some other fans as well on a more consistent basis, kind of like My Own Device. But then now you're able to branch out and try other things, and you're able to show that in more of this large collection that says, this is who we are. This is who Archetypes Collide is. And from what you guys put together on here, being able to do that, I mean, it was necessary to show just the dynamic songwriting that you guys are able to work with, how your style at its core allows you guys to try so many new and different things, to the point where, again, I first heard about you guys last year down at Welcome to Rockville. My friend's like, hey, Archetypes Collide is playing. Yeah. And I think I went to go see some other band I really want to go see that I had in the podcast because I always want to support them as well. And they kept telling me, like, dude, you like, that was awesome. You got to see it. And now after listening to the album, I'm like, there is no way in hell that I can miss out on this, because the style is fantastic. The core is there. And now, especially with this album, when the fans get their hands on it, they're going to get to know even more of what makes Archetypes Collide a band that's going to be one of those special bands that's going to be around for quite a long time, that people are going to continue to be able to evolve with, understand, and really get behind, to the point where I'm going to be seeing you guys go on tours maybe in like 4 or 5 years, where it's like, yeah, there's going to be these big tours, and all of a sudden, oh, who's the headliner? Archetypes Collide? Well, this makes sense.
Well, let's go. Yeah, I mean, it's only upward from here, especially with the tour, with Beartooth and Trivium. Like that's huge. That's huge for us. Like we did a couple tours last year with Amity Affliction. We did one with Secrets, and yeah, to have this next one with Beartooth and Trivium, and Malevolence is the other one on there. We're just the opener, but like, dude, these guys are big hitters. Like they can carry their own. They've got a huge pull. The shows are going to be massive, 2,000 to like 4,000 people. Like it's going to be absolutely insane for us. And so just it's cool to see, where we used to play local shows where, maybe 100 people would be there, or I mean, in the very beginning it was what I remember, we sold like our first show, we sold like 30 tickets, and we were stoked because we actually sold 30 tickets. Like, hey, we have 30 people that either want to see us or just feel really bad and bought a ticket. And like, but like stuff like that. And now we're being able to play festivals like, like Rockville is thousands of people. And, this tour with Tooth and Trivium is going to be, multiple thousands of people every show. And so it's really cool to see the progression of like, hey, we've seen it, we've played the hole in the wall, and we enjoy those shows. Like, hey, low production, let's just have a good time and hang out with friends. Like, yeah, that's sick. But also the big production of like, hey, we've got massive stage to work around. I can run around and do stuff. Finally, I'm not stuck with a drum set behind me, kicking his mic all the time. Stuff like that. It's so fun to be a part of this and to see where it's going. So yeah, we're really excited about that tour. That kicks off in, I think our first date is May 1st in Pennsylvania, but it's gonna be like a month and a half. We're super excited about it. It's gonna be so sick.
Yeah, I know it kicks off in like the beginning of May, because I know it's like the second or the third date of that tour is the date where you guys are going to be as close to where I can get to see you as possible. Yeah. So, because I'm looking at that all the time, like, because I saw, of course, I see Beartooth's going to go out on tour. For myself, I just think every time I've seen Beartooth play live, it is like a car battery gets attached to your nipples and you're just riding off of that high voltage.
He's insane. Caleb is absolutely insane. We got to, so we were on tour with Amity, and we did we crossed over Des Moines, Iowa, and Beartooth was playing a show there with Silverstein and Devil Wears Prada and Era. It was a huge show. I mean, I'm sure they probably came through, and huge bands. And we work with Ashi Bashar, which is the bassist of Beartooth, and then also their manager Tom Gutches. He's our manager as well. So we've got some really good friends there. It's been cool to see the dynamic pick up there. And we're kind of like the little brother to Beartooth. So if you hear Separate, and you're probably like, huh, all right, I could see it. Like, it's kind of one of those jams that's like, yeah, little bro of Beartooth. We got those vibes. So anyways, we crossed over and we were able to go to one of those shows, and just to be able to be, backstage with them, and we got to hang out and like talk to like Shane from Silverstein, and like, obviously the dudes from Prada, and I'm in there just like, guys, what are we doing? Like, this isn't real life, like, it's just so weird, because it's like people that, we grew up on, like, listening to, and like huge, like, Attack, Devil Wears Prada, Silverstein. I mean, literally all three of those guys are like late 2000s, 2010, like, they were huge. Like, they were the people that every band was like, yo, these are the guys in the scene. Like, and so just to be able to meet all these people and to start building that network and stuff has been really cool. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, life is weird. We get to meet a lot of cool people, and I cannot complain. It's every day I'm like questioning, like, what the heck is going on, dude? Like, we get to, it's so cool.
Life is weird, but it's also cool at the same time too. Just when I saw that tour pop up and I saw you guys were on there, because again, everyone knows what Beartooth is like on stage. Everyone knows, again, like I said, it's like a car battery being attached to your nipples and you're just riding that high voltage energy the rest of the way. Trivium is going to bring that energy, and they're going to be very technically precise as well. Yep. And it's going to be somewhere, and you see those bands too, they're on top of their game, and they show no signs of slowing down between Caleb Shomo and the guys, along with Matt Heafy and the guys as well. And when I saw you guys were on there, I mean, that just speaks volumes compared to, take a look at where you guys were last year. You're going, but you're hanging out backstage, you're wondering, is this real life? What are we doing? And now you're going to be a part of that every single night.
Every night.
But then when I listen to the album, everything about this, I'm just thinking, it's kind of like the coronation of Archetypes Collide. It's like everyone get to know this band, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be up here next in the next couple of years after us. And after listening to the album, my God, I'm just thinking, I don't think they could have gone with a better pick, man. I mean, everything flows so well. I'm just like, in my mind, I'm just so excited to see what happens when you guys go up on stage, open the show in front of, anywhere between 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 to 4,000 people, and people are just getting behind the band, getting behind the energy, and then everyone's like, no, this is what Archetypes Collided. Now let's see what Malevolence can do and see what they can match that. Because we know that Trivium and Beartooth are going to bring that energy to the point where we're going to leave that show and we're going to feel like we're going to be able to run through walls anytime we go anywhere. There might be a demolition derby out in the parking lot afterwards because, we're just so jacked up at this point. It's just like,
jeez, dude,
let's go. Car mosh pit. Yeah.
His energy. I forgot to mention, like, when we watched him live, his stamina, his like cardio, his energy live is absolutely insane. Like Olympic athlete, dude. Like he does not slow down. I'm like, dude, if I run around the stage too much, I'm like, oh God, like I gotta slow down. We're just a one vocalist band. Like, yeah, the guys help out. They'll do some harmonies and some screams and stuff like that. They'll chip in. But I have no, I'm not like, it's not like other bands that are, they have multiple vocalists. One sings and one screams. I'm like, dang, that'd be nice. Like I could I could chill. I'm like, dude, I'm going all out. I'm like, dude, I'm complaining about it. And then Caleb's over here running circles around everyone doing this stuff every single night. I'm like, dude, he's such a freak, but it's inspiring. You look up to people like that and you're like, man, like that's where I want to get. That's what I want to be able to do. I want to be able to perform and put smiles on people's faces and not get gassed when I do everything I want to do physically. Like that's the goal, man, to be able to entertain people and have that much fun doing it. It's really fun to watch. That's what makes a good show. You watch Caleb running around live, and I guarantee every single person that watches him walks away from that being like, yo, that guy looks like he's having the time of his life, and therefore I am too. People buy into that. And that's always been our vibe as well, is people always mention that I smile too much when I'm when I'm running around the stage and playing. It's like we're playing heavy music and I'm just like, yo, I'm having a great time. So I can't complain. It's every night is you can't take it for granted. So it's fun.
But if you're running around, playing the angrier, heavier style and you're smiling, the fans will pick up on that and just see, you're genuinely enjoying everything that you're doing up there. And that positivity is going to radiate into the crowd. And that was one of the feedback points I got from my friends that saw you at Welcome to Rockville. It's like, yeah, you Kevin, you missed out going to not see somebody else since I've seen Archetypes Collide. I'm just like, you know what? I will get my chance. Don't worry. It's going to happen.
Yep.
And now I get to get my chance and see you run around on stage with a big old smile on your face, possibly doing some insane, dirty, sludgy, unclean vocals before going to some nice cleans, all while I'm just amped up and full of energy, because this is just the start of one hell of a show where, again, it's going to feel like, you took a pre-workout, like you took a dry scuba pre-workout before every single set, and now you're just ready to go through and, get the biggest pump of your life by just energetic moshing.
100%. That whole tour lineup is, I don't know how people are going to like be alive after all four bands play. Cause it's going to be like, I mean, Malevolence, if you haven't, like, look them up, because they literally have like the heaviest, like sickest riffs ever. Like I love their guitar work. I love their instrumental work. It's so sick. And I know their crowds are going to be absolutely insane too. Like they can riff, but they're like the mosh pit, like hardcore. People are going to die probably during their set. Like that's how heavy they are. And so like that is, for us, obviously, like we love doing that kind of stuff as well, and just having a good time. We know Malevolence is going to freaking knock people's heads off and probably send some people to the hospital. But then it's like, with Trivium and Beartooth following that, I mean, I don't know what's going to be left of the venue after we're all done, like it's going to be insane. So I am so stoked to be a part of that.
I mean, you're telling me this now, and all I'm thinking about is you're just making me more and more excited for this show, man. You're making me more and more excited for this tour, because I'm the type of person that when that mosh pit forms, I'm going to be in the absolute center of it from the beginning of the opening band to the end of the headliner, and I'm not going to jump on any point in between. So if at the end of the set, if everyone is kind of like, all is like, okay, we can't do anymore, I'm done, I'm going to be sitting there in the middle like,
go.
You did it.
Yeah. You got this, yeah.
And then go back to the car and just like
he'll make it.
Go back to the car, sit down, and then just go, fuck, I need something to drink.
Because when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God.
Oh man, for me, it's always the drive back home and then getting out of the car, trying to go back upstairs. It's just like, get out of the car, I'm like, yep,
just
that's
dragging yourself. Oh yeah.
That's a little tight, man.
That's basically that's us after every show, dude. We're hopping in our van and trailer and we're just like, oh God, we got to drive 6 hours to Columbus. Like, it's just, but I mean, that's, you can't replace that. It's so much fun. So yeah, this tour, it's gonna be huge. We're stoked.
It's going to be absolutely huge. Before we send you on your merry way, though, Kyle, one other question is, once the album comes out, you guys are going to be going on that tour with Trivium and Beartooth. So when it comes to like the first half of 2023, you guys are just on this trajectory to show more and more people the greatness behind your music, but then also to connect with them even more in a live setting, because again, the tour is not a small tour. That tour is huge. It's also a Not Fest supported tour, so you know you're going to get more support around there as well. When it comes to the rest of 2023, if you guys have any plans, know of anything that you might be able to say? If not, just give me the teaser version. What's up? What else is coming in the second half of 2023 where everyone can be like, okay, we got the album, we had that tour, what's next? Because if this is the trajectory, I'm even more curious as to what's next.
Yeah, man. If I could talk, I would. But obviously, we've always got tours and stuff we're working on. And that's always a constant trying to figure out, who we're going to go out with, what we're going to be able to pull off and stuff like that. So, but right now our main focus, obviously is that Beartooth Trivium tour. With the album, what's really exciting about that is we actually, for the first time, have like hard copy CDs and vinyls that are coming out. And what's really cool about those is the hard copies will have the we'll have an extra song 13, 14 on there. So that's what's really cool is most people, I'm sure you've been able to review if you got the 12 song track or whatnot. There's a few more things that we've been excited to do there too. So I think this whole year, I mean, yeah, the album drops at the end of March 31st, but that's going to carry us all the way through the tour. And then just to see the opportunities we're going to have with the future stuff that we have in the works, with different tours and, potential festivals and stuff like that. Nothing that I can, talk on, but I know it's going to be, it's just going to be next level. Like this album it's our first full length backed by a label. Like we know this is going to be monumental to taking us to that next level and opening up new doors. So, yeah, I mean, we're just here for the ride. We're stoked. But yeah, we cannot wait for March 31st to get here. Because we just want to show, we've shown a couple of songs and like the response has been amazing. So we're like, dude, how much more, like how awesome will this be that we can all finally just tell everyone everything about all this music we've had in our pocket, perfecting for the past year and a half, it's an exciting feeling. It's going to be huge. So I'm stoked.
I knew there were some things you could tease, but not stuff you couldn't give me. But the thing you gave me on that was you guys got hard copies of stuff coming out, CDs, vinyl, and there are 2 more songs to it that I still have not listened to. Dude, are you trying to get me to spend all my money on this shit? Because, this vinyl player right here definitely needs another record to put on it. So if there's be 2 more songs from Archetypes Collide, especially after the 12 that are on there, right, that are on the album, after listening all the way through, I'm just wondering what else you guys be able to do with 2 more songs? Like, what haven't I heard? I know it's going to be something I haven't heard. I know it's going to be something that's going to probably be like, God damn, why didn't they put these on the full length and just like, make it a 14 song thing? You're probably going to make me question that. But at the same point in time, I'm like, no, even more curious because I've heard the album, but now when it comes out on the 31st, I'm like, no, I want to hear the other 2 songs you guys are putting out there.
Yeah, dude, it's just, yeah, I mean, I've worked sales in my life before, so I am familiar with the no, just kidding. But no, it's just super exciting. I mean, this is the most music we've ever dropped. And like I said, before we signed to Fearless, we were just independent, doing singles. All we did was singles. We did a cover here and there, trying to get that big break. And, we just chipped away at it. And eventually we finally had a track that popped off and we got the attention of a lot of people, including our management, including Fearless and so forth. And so now, we feel like we're at this point where we've proven, we can hold our own. We've done multiple tours across the nation. We feel like, and not in the most like not cocky ego way, like we feel like we're like good people who like, know how to work with others and really just bust our ass and like go for it. And I think that shows up. It shows up in our songwriting. It shows up in how our music is received, and with fans just connecting with us. Like we love that stuff, and it feels so it's just rewarding. This is the best part, is like releasing the music and being able to just get everyone in on it and just enjoy it all. It's like when you find a new song and you show your friend, you just stare at your friend while they listen to it. And they're like, dude, stop looking at me. Like, I'm listening to it. Stop. And it's like, that's how I am. Like, I'm just like looking at everyone like, you listening? You listening? You hear that part? You hear that part? You hear that? And all the little stories of every song, how they came together. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I'm super excited about it. We're almost there, about a month away. So
we're almost there. It's like, we're almost there. I can almost taste it. And of course, by the time the episode releases, we're going to be even closer to that point. So it's going to be even more, it's like, we're almost there. Can't wait for it. So Kyle, as we bring this podcast to conclusion, one thing I would like to do is give my guest, which is you in this instance, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of the podcast. So Kyle, the floor is yours.
Let's get it. So I got a few things. Parasite, our newest single off of our debut album, just came out about a week ago. Like I said, it's completely blown up. Spotify threw it on some of their biggest playlists. It's heavy metal, huge anthemic chorus. It's Archetypes 101. I mean, that's who we are. It's what we do. So definitely check out that track if you guys haven't yet. And then, of course, we mentioned it multiple times. We've got our new debut album with Fearless Records, self-titled. It comes out March 31st. All platforms everywhere. We're doing pre-sales. We got sick merch lines and all that good stuff that everyone does. But for real, everything helps us. If you guys are looking into it and want to support us, definitely check out the pre-orders. We got some really cool stuff there. And then, we got a massive tour with Beartooth and Trivium. And that's going to start at the end of April, early May. We're going all over the U.S. So it's going to be huge. Literally everything. This is like, we're just dreaming right now. We got massive album, we got massive tour, and we got this huge fan base that's starting to come alongside with us. And it feels like the sky is the limit right now. We're really excited about it.
Well, the sky is the limit definitely for you guys. And the best part about it is for those of you that are not, along that train with Archetypes Collide, not following with them, I'm going to fix that right now for you. Here's what you're going to do. Go to the description of the podcast which says find Archetypes Collide online. All the links to their social media accounts are going to be there and labels for them as well. So you can follow along with the band, know when they're releasing stuff, posting stuff, when tours are coming out, all that kind of stuff. I'm also going to, have down there where you can watch their music videos, where you can stream the album, where you can stream the singles, where you can listen to all stuff, where you can buy merch, where you can get tickets for this tour. Everything is going to be in the description podcast under Find Archetypes online, or I Find Archetypes Collide online. There's my one mess up for the day. Links, labels, everything there. I'm doing all the heavy lifting. All you got to do is click and take it from there. Now, Kyle, it's time for number 2. Whenever I'm guesting the podcast, I enjoy having on the podcast, I tend to make a certain promise as a way to say, one, thank you for being on the podcast. I appreciate you taking time, and I would like to continue to support the band any way I can. And I do not start these promises with if, because if implies possibility of not happening. Yeah. I'm going to start this thought with when, because it says, this is going to happen. We just need a day and time. And oddly enough, I might actually have a day and time for this as well. So when I get to see you perform live for the first time on the Beartooth tour, when you are going to be up in Green Bay, Wisconsin on May 3rd, because I checked it out early beforehand, I will be there. I will look for you. I will find you. Liam Neeson style, I will find you.
I will kill you.
And I will make sure that the first round's on me.
My guy. Thank you so much.
How will I find you? I'll find a way. I don't know how, but I'll find a way somehow.
We'll find you. Yeah, we'll be hanging out. This will be cool because it's our first tour that we it's a bigger level, right? So the first few ones that we've done, it's been we kind of run around and mingle and just hang out. And I'm assuming we're gonna try to do that on this, and eventually we're gonna hit that breaking point. I don't think it's gonna be this tour, but if we keep progressing, where like we can't just hang out in the open all the time because it might get weird, So like that's what I'm excited is like, yeah, I feel like we're still like at that level. Like let's chill with everyone, let's have a good time, let's see all the friends, let's kick it. So I will 100% try to find you as well in Wisconsin.
Oh, and, you'll see the crazy sweaty guy with a brewer's hat walk out of the pit, and you'll know right then and there it's me.
Let's go. I got you. I'll look out for you.
Perfect. And now, as we bring this podcast to its official conclusion, I cannot end this by saying goodbye because that is way too final. Because one, I made a promise to you. I'm going to see you on May 3rd. It's going to happen, and I'm going to make good on that promise. And secondly, dude, I can't have this be the only time I have you on the podcast. This is a blast. I'd love to have you back on again in the future. So can this be goodbye? Nah. This is going to be, I'll see you later.
Definitely.
Woo! Well, folks, I've been interviewed with Kyle from the band Archetypes Collide, and now it is time for Kevin's final thoughts. So, when I said that this album is like one of those albums that I have not been able to, stop listening to, Separate is a song that I have not been able to put down and not listen to, I meant it. I mean, this album is probably my favorite album that I've heard in March, and that goes, with For the Fallen Dreams, Invent Animate, August Burns Red, Archetypes Collide. This one hit me a little bit more. This one just hit me a little bit more. And when Kyle was talking about their formula for, how they create music and what their formula is for Archetypes Collide, they want to have those big hooky choruses. They want to have those melodies in there, but they also want to, have that energy behind there for that anthemic drive as well. You listen to the album and everything is there, but the sound of these songs is so much more dynamic till you're going to get that heavier in your face, Suffocate Me and Parasite feel. But then What If I Fall and Paranoid, you're going to get two completely, different sounds there as well in terms of a softer feel. My Own Demise and Separate, my God, those songs are just bangers through and through. This band knows exactly what they're doing in terms of who they are at their core and their willingness to experiment and go forward and backward, in terms of different, heavinesses, go light, go with these more melodic styles, go with something that's just more forceful in your face. You're going to see fully who Archetypes Collide is and is capable of being through this album. This is an album you're not going to want to miss out on. Trust me on that. Separate is a song that's been stuck in my head ever since I picked up this album and had a chance to listen to it for this podcast. It is the one that I cannot talk enough about. I mean, it is utterly fantastic. It's one of my favorite songs from the year. So it might be my favorite new song of the year in the first 3 months of the year. And yeah, I know also Watch the World Burn by Falling in Reverse came out. You guys know I love Falling in Reverse, but man, does Separate just hit in a different way. I love the fact that they're able to show on an album that they are still who they are, but they're able to expand on it so much more. This is something that is absolutely fantastic, and I am so much behind it, and I cannot wait to see the reception that the band gets from this album and what happens when they go on tour with Beartooth and Trivium in May and June of 2023. So make sure you do that by going to the description of the podcast, finding where it says Find Archetypes Collide online. There's going to be links and labels for everything they have there so you can connect with the band, be able to know when everything is coming out, be able to stream the album, download the album, buy the album, be able to watch YouTube videos, get tickets for that Beartooth Trivium tour where Archetypes Collide is the opener, and also, support them any way you can. I mean, it's all there. Just give these guys the support. They absolutely deserve it, and you're going to love the music. And because of that, I hope you guys give them support as well. So please go down the description of the podcast. You'll find it where it says find us on social media. All the links, labels for the Chord Progression podcast as well. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Find your favorite one. Go hit that subscribe button or follow button or like button because it helps us out. And you get to get no more behind the scenes stuff from the Chord Progression podcast, more of that quick short content just so you guys can, get a little bit more of the fun side of these things and get a little more of the, oh shit, connect with us. And Instagram live streams Monday night, 9 p.m. Central. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. So if you're watching the YouTube video, hit that subscribe button right now for us in order to support the Chord Progression podcast in video form. Or if you're listening on Spotify, Podcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon, go hit the follow and subscribe button there as well and continue to support the Chord Progression podcast. I want to thank you for subscribing. I want to thank everyone who is already subscribed because you guys are really making this whole entire thing worth it. Continue to be able to, do this stuff for you guys, be able to put out these episodes, be able to do this stuff. Absolutely my dream and passion. I absolutely love it. If you're not subscribed, you're like, I don't want to subscribe. Please reconsider. But if not, you're always welcome back. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness, for sponsoring the episode 20%. And that's it. 20%. CPP20, FNXFit.com, FNXFit.com. Link description of the podcast. Thank you, Kyle, once again. I'll see you May 3rd, buddy. I'll be in the pit. I'll be a sweaty mess, but I will look for you. I will find you. And first round's on me. So on that note, that's going to be for today, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one. It's up to the big, healthy, and hearty. See ya!